Today we're talking about building bricks or a framework. So for this day, for the first part of today, you're going to need the worksheet that I've emailed to you this morning. It is in your inbox. Like I said before, if you haven't got any of our emails, just send me a personal message or send me a message on our Facebook page, Behave Social, or in the group. Just tag me, my team will see it and they will send it over to you, or I personally will look it up for you and send it over. If you've already had the email, open it up right now, look at the sheet. I've seen people who've already printed it. That's amazing, but you're going to need that, or at least pen and paper to do the next exercise. So, what are building bricks? Can someone tell me what they think that building bricks are? I'm very curious if you have an idea about building bricks. So I'm going to treat this show as a replay because yesterday I saw that a lot of people are going to watch this in replay, which is a good thing. But if you're watching this at replay, pause me now and reflect what you think that are building bricks, because that's the way that you learn, by thinking and not by only getting the information and not doing something with it and not thinking before you hear the information. So you pause me, you're back. Hello. Building bricks, they are called a framework. So a framework for your business, or in this case, a framework for your Instagram profile. These are the things that help you find your niche and later on reach your target audience. So again, this is a really important exercise to do before we're going to implement everything in content in stories. Yes, they're like stepping stones, really good. Instead of, I don't see all the messages. Instead, you move up. Yes, that's the idea. They're stepping stones and they create the frame of how you're going to build up your profile on Instagram. So yesterday we already talked about the elevator page and I already saw them come in. I saw Peter give some answers and some feedbacks already. Today we're going to define your elevator page for Instagram because there's a little bit of a difference. And that's also what I said yesterday. Yes, they're basically the same. But for Instagram, it's even more defined and it's going to help you basically do the work that is necessary. So why do you need to have this framework? Why do you need to have these building blocks? Actually, before you start creating content, before you start creating stories, we use this exercise to define your niche and to make really clear what kind of content you're going to make, what kind of branding you're going to portray on Instagram, what kind of voice you're going to put down. We're going to uncover your unique selling point. Your USP is what we call in marketing, because the more unique you are on Instagram, the faster you're going to hit your target audience, the faster you're going to build that raving community that everyone is looking for, including me and you. I know that is the key of Instagram. You want people raving about your product, your brand, your business in order to sell, to create a community, to do something with that platform. That's basically the essence, right? So I'm going to give an example of someone who's in the challenge who have seen their exercise of the kickoff exercise, and I'm going to use her as an example. Okay, so for example, you are a travel blogger. You share content about your travels and a little bit about food and a little bit about nature, for example. And your end goal is to drive traffic to your blog posts on your travel website. That's your end goal because that's how you're going to convert them into, I don't know, paid advertisement, travels together, whatever your end goal is. So if you have your framework, if you have your building blocks in place, it's a lot easier to translate that in terms of content. You will be having more time to create content. You will write captions as if there's no tomorrow, and you will really talk to your audience that way. And whenever people land on your profile, they will immediately know this travel blogger is about A, B, and C. And that's what you want to do with this exercise, and that's why we're going to do it together. Also, with this exercise, with these building blocks, if you have them, you also know what not to share on Instagram. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves with clients and with consults, is I see people posting everything. But people, like, if you land on a profile, for example, a brand, a fashion brand, and they're sharing food pictures and they're sharing fashion outfits, but they're also sharing nature, and they're also sharing this, and they're sharing their cat and sharing this, and it's all over the place. And believe me, people don't like that kind of all over the placeness. If that's a word, that's not a word. But you know what I mean. You like to have something that's clear, that's defined, you know where you're going. If you land on that profile, this is the action and this is what you're going to get. You know what value they are giving. So let's move on to the next one. The assignment. Now, open the worksheet of the building bricks or take pen and paper, because I'm going to do it with you step by step, and I'm going to give you 2 examples. One is a really good example of a client of mine who's also in a challenge, and one is an example where I'm going to go step by step what I would do if this person would come in for a consult or would come in for training or whatever. So you pulled up the worksheet. You see that in the middle, there is a hexagon saying brand. Here you just put your brand name, your business, your personal profile, your Instagram brand name is what you put in the middle. And you have 4 little things where there's keywords. Keywords are the building bricks of your platform. So you're going to pick at least 3 keywords that you're going to use in order to create content, to build your branding, to build your profile. At least 3 and a maximum of 5. So you can build extra ones on the worksheet, or if you're doing it on pen and paper, you can build extra ones, but not more than 5, please, because it's going to be a little bit more out there. So you pick 3. Now I'm going to work from the example of how you're going to do that. So my client, Jolien Bruinings, if you're on Instagram, if you have your phone here, go to instagram.com at Jolien _BRX. She has amazing content, she has an amazing profile, and her 3 cornerstones, her 3 keywords are super, super clear for everyone who lands on her profile, because they're the first 3 words in her tagline. For her, they are vegan, fitness, and mindset. And all her content is built around those 3 keywords. So whenever you see a story, or you see a post, or you see her bio, it is either vegan, related to food, vegan products, the vegan lifestyle, or to fitness, and especially those 2 combined, as well as mindset. She empowers people to really live their dream life, to really make something of themselves. She went from burnout to bikini body. That's her motto. And that also builds on those 3 things: mindset, fitness, and vegan. So those 3 things are really, really amazing. And she has that clear, and you can see that reflecting throughout her whole Instagram page. Whenever she puts a highlight or a story or a photo, it is within her 3 niches, as well as with branded colors. Her colors are more gray, bluish, like very a blue undertone edit. Her fonts are always the same. The way she talks to people is always on brand, on point is what we say. So she's a really clear example of how you can pick those 3 things, how you can use them for your example. In between, so you've picked your 3 keywords. Let's make an example of the same person, the travel blogger that I used before. She or he is going to use travel, nature, and photography. Just saying, those 3 are the keywords, but they're still really, really big. They're still really, really out there. And You can do budget travel, luxury travel, hostel travel, exclusive travel, travel to undiscovered places. Like you can see, you can go really far with this. So on the worksheet, you'll see other little bricks that complement that travel one. So go deeper. If travel is your biggest keystone, what kind of travel? And go as deep as you can go. Also match colors, match voice, match personality to that. If your other one is photography, is that photography with bright colors, dark colors, night photography, portrait photography, photography only of women? I'm just rambling here, but go deeper with your niche. Go deeper with your unique selling point and know where you want to go. That's really, really important. I'm going to give another example, and I don't see names with comments, but I think this person is watching live. I think you're watching live, Katrina, right? Because you said ours would be fun, personalized, and pets. I'm going to use your account as an example. So the example here, if you want to see what I'm talking about, go to ID Pet Australia on Instagram and follow along what I'm going to share. So this example, I looked at your why and your kickoff exercise yesterday, and for me that was already really clear. And what I always do is when I get these kind of feedback, I go and look at your profile to see if it matches, because that's one of the exercises advanced that we did yesterday. Go and look if it matches. If the why is not reflected on your profile, if your cornerstones, your building blocks are not reflected on your profile, it is very hard for people to really know what you're about and what they can get from your profile and eventually what they can buy. So I'm going to give an example of how it was for me yesterday, the experience with being a potential customer. For example, I've seen your account post a really nice comment on another pet account on Instagram. So I'm like, oh, this is a really nice comment. It's ID Pets Australia. I'm from Australia. I have a pet. I'm going to check out what they're about. Only from your name and from your logo, I still have no clue what you do. And that's one of my first things. Your name is good because it's your brand, but your logo is not showing what you really do. It says the website, but only from a comment, I'm still not sure. So people have to make that click to come to your profile. And ID Pets Australia is still really, really big, because pets, it can be dogs, cats, rabbits, horses, I don't know. And Australia is still a really big country. I come from Belgium, so for me it's really big. So I still have no idea. So I land on your profile as a potential customer, as a potential lead to buy something. I'm really, really intrigued by your comments, so you already had me at that. So I'm already interested in your type of profile. So I land on your profile, I see your logo, and I see your highlights, your story highlights, as well as your bio. Then I see your logo, your profile photo, and your highlights are matched, and they're black and white, and I see the highlights are all for dogs. So that makes me think, she's only doing, or he or she, this account, is only doing products for dogs. And then I check your bio, and it doesn't say that. It doesn't say what kind of products you make for dogs. So people still have to go through your feed to look at what kind of products you make. Define that in your bio. Define who you're making products for cute, personal doggies, for doggies with personality. We create leashes. We create unique and fun leashes for, I don't know, dogs with personality. Something more unique than the bio that you have right now, because I don't feel it reflects your kind of product at the moment. The second thing, and there are a lot of good things about your profile, I'm just giving you feedback because I want to see and I want to show others what exercise with these building bricks, what these building bricks and exercise like this can do for your brand. So I looked at the highlights, your bio, and your logo, and I see there's a little bit of a mismatch right now. The second mismatch that I saw in terms of branding is your photos and your products are super fun and colorful and quirky and out there, and I love your content. To be honest, I like the photos that you put out, I like the stories that you create, but then I look at your logo and I look at your highlights and it's black and white. And for me, that doesn't match because your products are fun and colorful and woo and out there for personalities, dogs with personalities, and then everything is black and white. And in terms of branding, in terms of colors and how people react to colors, every color has a feeling and things like that, it doesn't reflect your branding as of right now. So what I would suggest, if you were a client, if you came into a consult, I would say to change your highlight and change your logo on your profile picture as of right now, because that's going to match better. Plus, we were going to look at defining your bio. Yes, but we also cater to cats, ferrets, chicken, goats. Yes, but I don't see that in any of your latest 9 photos. So if people land on that, they don't know. So if you want to show people that you also create for other kinds of animals, show that in your feed as well. Because if I land now, I would only say dogs. And still, I would advise you to start with dogs to make you known to create or another kind of animal, to make you known for one kind of expertise, one kind of niche. You are the expert to go to if I want to have a personalized dog thing. Then I come to ID Pets Australia. I don't go anywhere else because I know they have it. And later on, when you have that raving community, when you have a lot of sales, implement 1 or 2 other categories. Then implement cats and do a whole month only about cats. But change your bio to add dogs and cats at that moment and build it up from there in order that people after, I don't know, a few months know you are the place to go to. That's the same example for Coca-Cola, for example. They started with 1 drink, 1 flavor. They marketed the hell out of that 1 flavor and that 1 thing. And later on, they started to add more products. You start with 1 thing, make yourself the expert in that 1 thing, make yourself known that if someone asks, hey, I need to have this, immediately their response is that. I do also more things than Instagram marketing. I do more things than social media, but I market myself as that first to later on build on that platform, build on that kind of community already. The second thing, defining your bio. The other thing that I wanted to say is that you don't have a call to action right now. So if people land on your profile, they need to know where to go. Yes, there's a link, but tell them, click the link for our latest collection. See here more products for also, I don't know, pets, goats, chickens. Tell them what they can get if they click on your link. If they don't know, they're not inclined to click. Whew, I think I need to have some tea. I get really, really excited when I do this kind of things because I know an exercise like this can really flip a profile and really get the profit that you're looking for. I've seen clients for me go from making a few sales to being booked out completely with their service or their product. And the last thing that's just at the first glance is you have in your bio saying designed, created, or something. Wait, I have it down here. Owned, designed, and printed in Australia. That's really good if your market audience is only in Australia, but I believe you also set ships worldwide. So then it's good. They already see ID Pets Australia in your account name and in your tag link. So yeah, they know already that you're founded and probably printed and designed in Australia. So I would use those characters. You only have 150 characters in your bio to tell something else, to give more value, to show where they have to go, like a call to action. This is just some points that I'm giving. Don't take it too like, oh, you have to change all of that. It's already really, really good. You already have a really good account. Your photos and your content and your captions are already really good. I just feel that your branding and your building blocks, your framework, isn't that well presented as of right now. and people that are watching that also have a physical product, take this example and look at your own profile to see if it matches. Is your branding there, or your corner stores there, and is everything connected on your profile? If you have a service or your personal brand, the same thing applies. Look at your cornerstones. So the example of your lean learnings would be more for you if you're a personal brand or you sell a service. Just make sure that everything is really aligned. When a person lands on your profile, they immediately see who you are, what you do, and what you stand for. And those 3 cornerstones need to be there, 3, 4, 5. I pick 3 because that works the best. For me personally, it's travel, business, and what was the L? I put this once: travel, business, and Instagram. So those 3 things, I put that down, and I'm marketing myself as Instagram expert, social media expert right now, but I do other things. But I don't mention that unless in stories because it's more flexible. But most of I market myself as that, as the traveling entrepreneur with social media. So yeah, if you're doing this example, if you're doing this exercise, go deeper than just those 3 corner blocks. Go further. Think about colors, fonts that you want to use, your bio, your profile pictures, your photos. Do they all represent your framework? Is your framework visible online? Because if you don't have a framework, how do you expect other people to take the action that you're looking for? Cannot read your mind. They don't know what your desired outcome is. You have to show them and tell them what they have to do, and make sure your branding is very, very strong online. Let's take a little break of 1 second before we go to the part 2, which is target audience. And I'm adding this one in today, even though my goal was to do 30 minutes and not too long today. But I feel that most of the people in the challenge really need this second part in order to move forward with Instagram. I'm going to take 1 sip so you guys can catch up with writing and taking notes, because you only learn and you only take on information if you do an action with it. So if you're just listening and sitting and watching, that's not enough. Write things down, type things in the comments, do the steps directly. Oh, now a sip. Whoop, whoop. Are we ready to go to part 2? We are, right? I am. Really helpful point so far. Thank you. I'm trying to give as much value as I humanly can. But now let's move to phase 2, part 2, your target audience. Now that you know who you are and what your brand stands for, those 3 building blocks, now let's look at your audience. So we're going to flip the light from you to your target audience, and we're going to see if you're reaching the target audience that you want, and who is that. Because if you don't have a clear idea who your target audience is, you're not going to reach them. You're going to have a big mismatch, believe me. Yay, part 2. So, who thinks they got a clear idea of who their target audience is? Who really can tell me in detail who your target audience is? Say yes and type yes in the comments if you're like, yes, Steph, I'm super confident that I know my target audience, and that I'm also already reaching my target audience. I saw a funny comment. I'm writing notes and bagging products. Hope I don't get muddled and send my notes to a customer. Well, maybe that customer can really use those notes. Who knows? But really good for you for multitasking and for taking notes and for doing something. Congrats to you. So yeah, who thinks their target audience is really, I see yes and yes come in. I don't see who it is. I'm going to check later. I'm always super excited for me to see who's super confident. Okay, if you're super confident, then this exercise is going to be the easiest exercise ever. Jen says yes and no. I'm going to use you as an example a little bit further along. So by defining your target audience and creating your avatar, because that's what we're going to do right now, you can easily write caption and create content. Because something I saw with the comments yesterday is, I don't know what to write, I don't know who my audience is, I don't know what kind of photos I should take. That means to me that your target audience is not clear, or that your target audience and your actual audience are not a match. Or you're not a match with your target audience. That's also possible, but that's something else to work on. So if you are not clear who your target audience is, you cannot expect people to find you. That's my biggest statement. If you don't know who they are, they don't know who you are. There's a direct connection between those two. So the more clear you are with your target audience and with your avatar, the more clear people will find you, interact with you, and the higher your engagement and sales will be. So we're going to create your avatar. That's the way you're going to find your audience, really. If you have your avatar down, people will come to your profile even without you doing hours and hours of work on Instagram. Believe me, once I had this done for myself, it really changed a lot. So take a pen and paper. I have a whole workbook about this, but it's in the Academy. It's around 25 to 30 pages with exercises for finding your avatar and defining your target audience. But we're going to do the mini version here because otherwise I would be talking for 2 hours or maybe 3. But this is really important. So take pen and paper right now in front of you. If you don't, pause me, come back with pen and paper. I'm really strict that way. And we're going to brainstorm together who your avatar is. An avatar is one snippet out of your target audience. It's one person that's going to represent your whole target audience. Okay, you draw a little person in the middle. If you're very creative and you're good at drawing, you make a very beautiful human. Or if you're not targeting humans, you take something else, but that would be weird if you're looking at Instagram. You draw a human. For me, it's a stick. It's a round with 4 sticks on it. I take sticky man, but I'm just not creative with drawing. You draw a person in the middle, and we're going to put keywords and connections and like a brainstorm session, like a mind map. In teaching, we call this a mind map. We're going to make a mind map around your avatar. So you have this person in the middle, and now we're going to paint a picture of who this person is. So I want to start by giving your avatar a name. Yes, it might sound very weird, but if you personalize this avatar, it's a lot easier to write captions because you can imagine that person sitting in front of you. For example, my avatar's name is Bea. Bea is my ideal client. She's my avatar. She would also be my dream best friend. So we'll take Bea. You pick your own name. If it's a male or female here, you already know what kind of name you're going to put to it. You pick an age for this person. Is he or she 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, whatever, one age, not a category, but one specific number. Then we're going to look at the location. Where does Bea live? Does she live in a village, a city, in the US, in Germany, wherever? She lives somewhere. Does she live in an apartment? Does she live in a house? Does she live with her parents? Does she have a boyfriend? All that kind of things I need to see with your avatar. Go super, super precise. Really, really, really precise. And what qualities does avatar have? I'm still going to use Bea because it's super easy for me. What qualities? She's sweet, but she has the power in her. She knows what she wants and she's willing to work for it. She has the mental capacity to take on more information and to implement it. So those are the qualities I'm looking for in my target audience. Those are the qualities that my perfect dream client already has. He or she possesses this. What kind of colors does your avatar like? What kind of language do they use? What's their stop word? What's their job? What's their dream goal? What's their dream life? Where do they travel to? What's their income? See how deep you can go with this? And that's what I want you to do. If I do this with clients, it's mostly a long-term process. It's not something I do in one session. It's something I do over multiple sessions, and it ends up being a document of 20 to 30 to 40 pages long, because with everything, I define why. So he or she lives in the big city, let's say New York. Why? Because he or she has the dream to do more, but is still stuck and still working a 9 to 5, blah, 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 blah. Every keyword, every word that you put on this avatar has why. And if you know that, you can cater, you can curate your content to speak directly to that one person. We will go even deeper. Like, I want you to think, where does your avatar hangs out? What's their favorite restaurant, their favorite club if they're going out, their favorite cafe, their favorite drink in their cafe? Go super, super deep. This is the advanced version. If you're not far along with target audience and you've never thought about doing something super professional with your Instagram profile, keep it with the basics like name, age, location, things like that. But if you're a social media manager, if you have a business, your avatar alone needs to be, I don't know, a 10-page document. And you'll need to do research. This will take hours if you take it professionally. Look at, if I do it for clients, it takes me days together with them, going back and forth and doing the research. What kind of people do they look up to? How does their social media profile look like? Where do they hang out? Do they hang out on Instagram or Pinterest? Is it LinkedIn? All those things I need to know in order to create content for your avatar. So your avatar is basically a person. And what they say, if you're a product owner or service owner, your avatar is mainly you, but 5 years ago. Because you start a business because you feel the need that something is missing. 5 years ago, you felt there wasn't a company that was doing A, B, or C. You felt there wasn't a coach that was providing for people like you. So your avatar most often reflects you from a few years ago. If you're a multinational and you're the CEO of that multinational, it's a little bit different, but still, I always see, even from high profiles, I see little things, little snippets reflected in their avatar because they connect on that level with their audience. If you're a high-end individual with a C position, you still need to have that feeling with your community, with your audience, in order to create products, to make decisions, to go deeper and further with your business. So this, even for you, is a really, really good exercise to do with your team. And if you have a team, let them all create an avatar and make that perfect dream avatar from all the people that worked on this. But yeah, so paint the picture, go deep. The basic version is doing the name, the age, the location. The medium version is going a little bit deeper, and the advanced version is a 30-page avatar business target audience report. Yes, I was going to give the example of Jennifer Henley. She has been a client for, I don't know, like, I don't know, 2 years ago or a year, I don't know. But when I first started working with her, she had her audience really clear, but it wasn't reflecting who she was and what her vision for the brand was. So we really worked on what kind of content do you need in order to reach your target audience. She had this kind of 20, 30 page avatar document. And like she said, now she's still working on it. This is an exercise that you do every 6 months, every year, every 2 years, whenever you feel that there's a switch happening in your business or in your life or in your offering. You need to do this exercise again and again and again to fine tune, to really reach that target audience, to have that really, really clear for yourself. So I'm really curious how you're going to do the avatar exercise. I would love to see the pictures that you drew on stories, or send them to me in personal messages or in DMs. For me, it's super excited to see these kind of things because I do it so much with clients. It's super fun if I could see it, with you. I'm seeing comments come in and it's very, very funny and also a little bit frustrating for me. I'm going to look at your comments now before we go to the next step. Oh, I feel 46 minutes. I need to go a little bit faster. That's a great tip for service for the avatar. Yes, it's going to help you so much if you have this clear. Like I saw someone with a book account in the challenge and she was writing books. She was not writing books, she was creating content around books. But what I would do with my avatar, what's their favorite book? What's their #1 book that they would recommend? And create a red line through this. Create a structure around that one book and create your content, some of your content around that one thing, that one key of your avatar. If you don't know that, that's what we're going to do. Yes, avatar is customer profile, but we call it avatar, not the movie Avatar. We call it avatar because it's the name, but customer profile works as well. But yeah, I saw a comment, avatar is more like 10 to 15 years ago. Yes, but it's still a very, or it could be the avatar of your children. Like you could be a mom and you would start a business because you felt the need that there wasn't something for your child. Then your child is the avatar, or your child 5 years ago is the avatar. It doesn't have to be you, but it needs to be very, very close at least. The imagery, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to look at the other comments later, and I'm going to have a sip now and we'll go to the next phase, and I'm going to try to keep it within 1 hour today. Okay, so you are amazing. You've done the building bricks, you've done the avatar, you went really, really deep. And now let's see if your avatar and your building blocks are picked up by your community, by your audience. Ask them. It's something I rarely see with big companies and I rarely see anywhere basically. But the biggest thing that you can do is ask your community who they are, what they like, what kind of content they like from you, what kind of content they want to see in the future. So my task, like my real physical task, besides the other things, it's writing, brainstorming, and things like that, my real physical task is this asking of your community. So you're going to create story polls in your Instagram story today. You're going to ask who they are, male, female, between a certain age, so that they can click on polls. People like to be engaged, they like to do something with your stories, and they like to give their information about themselves. Tell them why you're doing this in order to create more content for them, to create more value, to really take them seriously. You're doing this for them. You're asking it to provide more value to them. That's why yesterday I asked you about your struggles, about your why, because today I can use your whys, I can use your struggles to make this more for you. So I want you to do the same things in story polls today. So who they are, what they like, what content do they like, where they're from, make polls, yes and no, ask questions in stories. We're going to do more around this in the story day, a few days later in the challenge, but I want you to ask at least 2 questions to your audience today, so you have a clear idea who's watching your content, who's engaged, and if it's a match, because you might have your avatar in your audience really, really clear, but it might not match at the moment. And that's not a bad thing. It just means you're going to create more content for your ideal avatar, for your ideal customer profile. That's your plan, that's your goal. You can still use little bits of your audience right now, but if it's 100% mismatch, don't go and create content for them if you feel they're not aligned with where you want to go. Create content for your aligned audience, for your goal, where you want to go in the next year with your business, with your Instagram profile. Why would you ask this and why would you do all this? Is because people can relate more if you speak directly to them. If they feel they are being heard, if they feel they're being appreciated and that you care for them, they will make that connection with you so much faster. They will see you as the brand or the person or the whatever that really thinks about their needs and thinks about what they want and not what you want to sell or what you want to do. So you put the customer, put the client, you put your avatar first, but you use it in a little bit of a twist because you're basically molding your audience to what you're looking for. That's the biggest thing. But then a question that I get, but Steph, this is so niche. My avatar is so defined. It has a name. It has a specific age. It has a this. It has a that. Yes, but you're going to create content that speaks to that person. And when you're writing a caption, you can have Bea in your mind, and it feels like you're talking to that person. You're not coming up with words that don't feel aligned. You're coming up with a story that you would tell to your best friend, to your ideal client. You can picture that person in your mind and speak to them. Create a photo for them. For example, if your audience likes pink, like your avatar, Bea, her favorite color is pink, you're going to create photos where pink is in it, right? Where pink colors are represented, where a pink drink is in, whatever. You're going to make content for them, and it's going to be so much easier because you don't have to think, I don't know what they like, I don't know what I should do. You know their favorite book, their favorite drink, their favorite this, and you create content around that. It's going to save you so much time, like really. And it doesn't have to feel like 100% speaking to that person. But if people feel like they have that 1, 2, or 3 things in common with you, or they have 30, 40, 50% of what the content you're sharing in common, they will feel a connection, like, hey, I also went to that place, or hey, that's also my favorite drink. They will comment, they will like, they will send you DMs, and they will feel that connection. Even if you're a clothing brand and you're creating content of outfits that they would wear instead of what you would normally shoot in outfits, they will be like, hey, I have this exact same jeans. I'm going to buy this top because it matches so very, very well. That's the type of engagement that you want. That's the type of community that you are looking for. So don't expect to hit Bea 100% and to find a copy of Bea. I'm using Bea's avatar, right? I hope you got that during my story. But at least 3 things out of the content that you shared this week, Bea might think, hey, that's also my favorite color. Hey, I've also traveled to that destination, or that's my dream destination. So for them, having that instant connection, having that trust in you as an authority figure, as a brand, as a business, is going to drive your community, your engagement, and later on your sales.